What's up, guys? Tim's Trades just coming at you today with a little bit of a market update and my thoughts on where we are currently sitting in the market cycle and perhaps how best to kind of handle this next kind of number of weeks or potentially months as we go forward. It's my kind of thoughts that we're currently in no man's land, if you like. We're kind of at this point where there's a lot of indecision in the market. From listening to the general noise going around the YouTube, we're in a bearish period, or we're expecting this correction to happen on Bitcoin, which will pull the rest of the market down. Now, obviously, that's happened pre-halving in the three previous cycles we have, but it's my opinion that it's better to stay present and just keep an eye on how things pan out. Don't always expect what's happened previously to happen immediately again. So we can illustrate this area of no man's land in a couple of ways, and I like this total market caps chart, which I've had running for a number of months now. If you go back to my previous videos, you can see kind of what we were looking at, and kind of we had a bias for an alt rally based on the structure which we could see appearing on initially total here, all the coins together. It got itself up and under this hip here of the previous breakdown in 2022. You could see that the total market cap made its way up and is now bouncing off that area here, this piece of resistance here. Total 2 made its way kind of past this first structure here and is in between, as is total 3. So you would argue then that we're bouncing off here, and so potentially there's going to be, if you were just trading this chart alone, you would expect a rejection maybe further down here. Contrary to that, or just juxtaposed to that, we see the two other totals, total 2 and 3, they're poised for a move up. So it's kind of telling us there's a lot of indecision in the market at the moment, and so we've got to just be cognizant of that and just be patient. That is the key thing. You see it on the thumbnail. We can also see that quite nicely illustrated on the Bitcoin chart. We got here a beautiful macro Fibonacci extension on the weekly time frame, and you can see here that from the lows back in 2022, Bitcoin's moved up perfectly to test the 0.5 at 48k. So that, you could argue that was an obvious move as soon as we broke past this 382 and we started accumulating here. We got that test. It was rejected quite fast, and subsequently now we're stuck. It didn't break down immediately. We got the sell-off from potentially grayscale or just a natural pullback, and that, as you can see, we moved up all the way through 2023, and so a natural correction was expected. This is what people are talking about. This is what people regard as going to be coming over the next number of months, and it's my opinion that you're better to be just patient here and watching what the market's going to provide for us. I would say right now, in this very moment in time, there are some bullish signals, so that's going against the thesis that we break down. We could see another test up here. It could break straight down. We don't know, and no one's going to give you an absolute certain answer on that. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is just to be patient here and watch what the market provides. If we do another Fibonacci extension from the lows to this point of resistance here, at this, you can see it was resistance for quite a number of weeks. And let's just bring it down to the point where it based off. You can see that in this case, the 1.618 is very close to where the previous resistance was. And again, we're just bouncing above the 1-to-1 here at the moment at 40,000. 40,000 is going to be, a nice piece of support, and you can see it's already happening. We've been bouncing off here for how many weeks now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 weeks, and it's not broken down yet. So let's just keep an eye on things. We know that if the price starts to break and close, 2 or 3 days below here, that okay, now we're going to move down, and we can see where the next piece of support is going to come in around about 37, and then we've got these stepping stones down. Absolute support for me is down here. It's right at this point here. A sustained break below there, it flips the entire bull market on its head, and we come into what you might consider a bear market. If you can see a weekly close back down below here, it's going to bring us all the way back down here. I would be very surprised if that was the case. Actually, I don't want to give my opinion. It's not important, in my opinion. All we can see is what we can see is far more important, and so we take the charts and we take them on a daily basis, and we see what we've got, and that's what we're doing at the moment. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that there's some bullish signals coming in, and I want to bring you to the link chart. Everyone's probably got their eyes on the link chart that's kind of paying attention to the market at the moment, and it's given us a really strong breakout signal, and we can actually see that on the weekly, which is super important here. Let me remove this HPDR. Shout out to Mr. Eric Crown for showing those fantastic indicators. Let's get that off. Yeah, here we are. Here we got this. Your weekly on the link chart. You got a break above previous air, and then we're off again running. I've got some personal targets on here. I think they'll probably go higher here, but I've got a long trade running at about 20x, and so I'll be taking out some profits at various points and then potentially re-entering. But yeah, I wanted to say we had a really bullish setup, and we do, and it's based on the stochastic here, which is giving us an edge on price direction, and volatility, which doesn't give you price direction but just gives you the kind of indication that as it's expanding from lows, then a powerful move's beginning. And we've got that expansion here on the weekly time frame, which is incredibly powerful. Now, this has only happened 4 times, I think, previously in the history of the entire link chart, and each time it's given us quite a substantial move. The first time it gave us 343%. The second time it gave us 212%. The third time it gave us 69%, and the final time it gave us 128%. So, and the smallest one there, it was still a 60% move. So far, Link has moved, well, let's call it from this point here, giving us 30%. So you could expect potentially at least, twice that move, another 30%. And I don't want to go in and suggest that this is going to be a huge move. We like I've just said, I'm not going to change my general thesis. We just take it a stage at a time, But this is just an indication that things are potentially not super bearish for this moment in time and bullish. And yeah, what I want to say, guys, is this is a new channel. If you have a coin you want me to look at, shell it in the comments. Obviously, like and subscribe. That's going to be really helping me get going off the ground here, and I'll be happy to engage with you guys and do small videos on any kind of alts charts that you kind of fancy me looking at. Alrighty, peace out, guys.